Hydrogen will save the planet. That is the promise you hear. It's a grand statement. It paints a picture of a clean, bright future. Now stop. Take a breath. That claim is too simple. The universe is rarely that simple. Hydrogen can help us. It has a role to play in our cosmic journey toward a cleaner world. But it is not a miracle fix. It is not a silver bullet that solves all our energy problems overnight. This essay is about the reality. We will explore what hydrogen is. We will see how we make it. We will learn what it can do for us. And, just as importantly, we will discuss what it cannot do. The cosmos rewards curiosity and clear thinking, not hype. Let's begin with a simple truth. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. It is the stuff of stars. It powers the sun that warms our planet. It is in the water that covers our world. It is in you and me. So, what is this stuff we call hydrogen? Let's zoom in to the atomic level. Imagine the simplest atom possible. At its center is a single, tiny particle with a positive charge. That's a proton. Whizzing around that proton is another, even tinier particle with a negative charge. That's an electron. That's it. One proton, one electron. That is a hydrogen atom. It is element number 1 on the periodic table. It is the fundamental building block of the cosmos. On Earth, 2 of these atoms pair up, holding hands, forming a molecule of hydrogen gas, H2. This is the stuff we mean when we say hydrogen fuel. You can't find a pocket of hydrogen gas in your backyard. It is incredibly light, the lightest of all gases. If released, it shoots straight up, rising and scattering into the upper atmosphere. So we can't mine it like coal or oil. It has floated away. Instead, it's locked inside other molecules. The most common is water, H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms, 1 oxygen atom. It's also in methane, CH4. Key idea: hydrogen is an energy carrier. Let me say that again. It is an energy carrier, not a primary energy source. Think about electricity. We don't dig it up, we generate it. Burning coal, harnessing wind, capturing sunlight. Then we send that energy through wires to our homes. Hydrogen works similarly. We manufacture it, putting energy in, then get it back out when and where needed. How do we get the energy back out? 2 main ways. First, burn it. When hydrogen burns, it combines with oxygen from the air. It produces water vapor and a lot of heat. That heat can turn a turbine to generate electricity or power an engine. Second, a fuel cell. A fuel cell is like a battery that keeps running while you feed it hydrogen. Inside, hydrogen and oxygen react to produce electricity, water, and a little heat. It's a clean, quiet way to generate power. We must use energy from another source, like the sun, the wind, or even natural gas, to produce pure hydrogen. Then, we can store that hydrogen, move it, and use it later to generate power or heat. So the big question isn't just about using hydrogen. The real question is, where did the energy to make it come from in the first place? That is the journey we are about to take. We live in a time of great change. Our civilization needs vast amounts of energy to function. For centuries, we have relied on burning fossil fuels. This has powered our world, but it has also filled our atmosphere with carbon dioxide. Now we must find new ways. Hydrogen is one of those potential new ways, but its story is complex, filled with both amazing potential and significant challenges. We need to approach it with the mind of a scientist, with skepticism, with data, and with an open mind. Let's separate the cosmic facts from the earthly fiction and see what science really says about hydrogen. When people talk about hydrogen, you will hear a lot of colors mentioned: gray, blue, green, pink, turquoise. This isn't a fashion statement. These colors are a simple code. They tell you how the hydrogen was made. And how it was made is the most important part of the story. It determines whether the hydrogen is helping our climate problem or making it worse. It is a spectrum of cleanliness, and understanding this rainbow is crucial. Let's start with the color that dominates today's world. Most of the hydrogen we use right now is gray hydrogen. It is not a hero in our climate story. Gray hydrogen is made from fossil fuels, usually natural gas. The process is called steam methane reforming. You take methane, CH4, blast it with high-pressure steam, and out comes hydrogen, H2. But there is a catch, and it's a big one. This process also releases a lot of carbon dioxide, CO2, a powerful greenhouse gas. So, for every ton of gray hydrogen you make, you produce about 10 tons of CO2. Gray hydrogen is cheap to produce, which is why it is so common. It is used in oil refining and to make fertilizer, but it is a major source of industrial emissions. It is part of the problem we are trying to solve. Next on our spectrum is blue hydrogen. This is an attempt to clean up the gray hydrogen process. You still make hydrogen from natural gas, just like before. But this time, you try to capture the CO2 that is produced. You prevent it from escaping into the atmosphere. The captured carbon is then stored, usually deep underground. This sounds great, but it is not a perfect solution. Carbon capture is not 100% effective, so some CO2 still escapes. More importantly, producing and transporting the natural gas in the first place often leads to methane leaks, and methane is an even more potent greenhouse gas than CO2 in the short term. Finally, we arrive at the color everyone is excited about: green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is made using electrolysis. You take water, H2O, and zap it with electricity. This splits water into hydrogen and oxygen. The only byproduct is oxygen. If, and this is a very big if, the electricity comes from a clean, renewable source, like wind or solar power, then the entire process is virtually emissions-free. Other colors exist, like pink using nuclear power, and turquoise, making solid carbon instead of CO2, but green captures the clean energy dream. Let's dive deeper into the green dream. How exactly do we make hydrogen from nothing but water and clean electricity? Water, clean electricity. The magic happens inside a device called an electrolyzer. It sounds sci-fi, but the principle is simple. It has been known for over 200 years. 2 electrodes, anode, positive, cathode, negative, submerged in water. When you run an electric current through the water, a beautiful chemical dance begins. The water molecules, H2O, are literally torn apart by the electrical energy. At the negative electrode, the cathode, electrons are pumped in. They attract the positively charged parts of the water molecules. 2 water molecules grab 2 electrons, split to form hydrogen gas, H2, and form 2 negatively charged hydroxide ions. That hydrogen gas bubbles up and is collected. Meanwhile, at the anode, those hydroxide ions are attracted. They give up their extra electrons and react to form oxygen gas, O2, and water. The oxygen bubbles up and is also collected, or simply released into the air. The net result: electricity goes in and hydrogen comes out and oxygen comes out. This process is elegant. It is clean. It feels like the perfect solution. But the universe always presents us with challenges. The main challenge for green hydrogen is twofold: cost and scale. First, electrolysis requires a massive amount of electricity, about 50 kilowatt-hours per kilogram of hydrogen, enough to power an average American home for a day and a half. For green hydrogen to be truly green, all that electricity must come from renewable sources. That means enormous numbers of new solar panels and wind turbines, just to power the electrolyzers. The second major hurdle is the cost of the electrolyzers themselves. These devices are complex and, until recently, have been built in small numbers. They can be expensive. The good news is that costs are falling, just as they did for solar panels and batteries. As we build more factories and produce electrolyzers at a larger scale, the price per unit will drop. The cost of renewable electricity is also plummeting around the world. The dream is that eventually, the falling costs of both renewables and electrolyzers will cross a threshold, making green hydrogen cheap enough to compete with its dirty gray counterpart. That is the moment the green hydrogen revolution could truly begin. So, we have made our clean green hydrogen. Now what? We have to get it from where it is made to where it is needed, and we might need to store it for a while. The physical properties that make hydrogen unique also make it tricky to handle. As the lightest element, A kilogram of hydrogen gas takes up a huge amount of space at normal pressure. So we have to make it denser, squeeze it into a much smaller volume. There are three main ways to do this. First, compression. Squeeze the gas to very high pressures, often 350 to 700 times atmospheric pressure, stored in strong, bulky cylindrical tanks. Example: fuel cell cars. Tanks are made from composites like carbon fiber. Compression requires energy. About 10% of the hydrogen's energy goes to compression. Second, liquefaction. Turn hydrogen into a liquid. Very, very cold. How cold? Colder than deep space. Liquid hydrogen needs 253 degrees Celsius, 423 degrees Celsius. Liquefaction is energy intensive. It can use up to 30% of the hydrogen's energy. Liquids go in super insulated cryogenic tanks, like a high-tech thermos, useful for shipping large quantities or rocket fuel where density matters. Third, don't ship pure hydrogen. Convert it into another chemical that's easier to store and move. The leading candidate, ammonia. Combine hydrogen with nitrogen to make ammonia, liquid at around 33 degrees or under moderate pressure. There is already huge global infrastructure. We could piggyback on that system. At destination, ammonia can be used as fuel or cracked back, with added complexity and energy loss. Hydrogen is not a universal solvent for our energy problems. Using it everywhere would be inefficient and expensive. The key to a smart energy future is to use the right tool for the right job. Hydrogen is a specialist tool. It shines in applications where other clean energy solutions fall short. Direct electrification. Batteries. These are often called the hard-to-abate sectors. Big, hot, heavy. This is where hydrogen can make a real difference and help us decarbonize hard sectors. One of the most promising uses is steelmaking. For centuries, we've used coke, a form of coal, to strip oxygen from iron ore in a blast furnace. That releases enormous clouds of CO2. But we can replace the coal with hydrogen in a process called direct iron reduction. Hydrogen pulls oxygen from iron ore, producing only water vapor. This green steel is a game changer. Cement. Other chemicals. Another area, heavy-duty transport over long distances. For a small passenger car, batteries are fantastic, efficient, and cheap to run. But a 40-ton semi that must go 1,000 kilometers in a day, a battery big enough would be incredibly heavy, expensive, and take a very long time to charge. Hydrogen fuel cells offer an alternative. Hydrogen tanks can be refilled in minutes, similar to diesel, while keeping weight lower so trucks carry more cargo. Shipping. Aviation. Hydrogen's high energy density, plus derivatives like ammonia, can help for these toughest sectors. Finally, hydrogen can help balance the power grid. Solar power. Wind power. The sun doesn't always shine. The wind doesn't always blow. Batteries are great for a few hours of storage. But what about seasonal storage? Summer to winter. Batteries can't do that economically. Hydrogen can. Use excess renewables to make green hydrogen. Store it for months in underground salt caverns. Then use it to generate electricity when renewables are scarce. So yeah, this is where hydrogen really fits. While the promise of hydrogen is vast, the path to a hydrogen-powered future is paved with monumental challenges. We must be honest about them. A scientist does not ignore inconvenient data. The first and most immediate challenge is cost. Right now, in 2025, green hydrogen is 2 to 4 times more expensive to produce than gray hydrogen made from fossil fuels. This green premium is the biggest barrier to its widespread adoption. Industries will not switch to a cleaner option if it makes them uncompetitive. The entire business case for green hydrogen depends on the falling costs of renewable energy and electrolyzers and policies like carbon taxes. The second hard truth is the sheer scale of the infrastructure we would need to build. We need a whole new supply chain. We need to build millions of wind turbines and solar farms dedicated to hydrogen production. We need massive factories to manufacture electrolyzers. We need a vast network of pipelines to move the gas, or a fleet of specialized ships to carry liquid hydrogen, or ships to carry ammonia across oceans. We need storage facilities, high-pressure tanks, and huge underground caverns. And we need refueling stations for trucks, ship bunkering and refueling, and aviation refueling for planes. This is a multi-trillion-dollar undertaking that will take decades to build. Efficiency is another inconvenient truth. Every time you convert energy from one form to another, you lose some of it. This is a fundamental law of thermodynamics. The hydrogen route has several steps: electrolysis, compression or liquefaction, then conversion back in a fuel cell, losing energy at each stage. Round trip can be as low as 30 to 40% versus over 90% for batteries. Finally, there is the water issue. Making green hydrogen requires water, a lot of it, about 9 kilograms, 9 liters, of pure, deionized water per kilogram of hydrogen. Scaling to millions of tons could strain fresh water in arid regions. The good news is that we can use seawater. Desalination is well established, though it adds energy, cost, and complexity. These challenges require serious engineering, massive investment, and careful planning. Whenever a new technology emerges, myths and fears follow. Hydrogen is no exception. The Hindenburg disaster created a lasting perception that hydrogen is uniquely dangerous. Yes, hydrogen is flammable. It has a wide flammability range and takes very little energy to ignite. But it also has safety advantages. Being the lightest gas, it disperses incredibly rapidly if it leaks. It rises up and away, unlike gasoline vapor, which pools near the ground. Modern hydrogen systems are designed with this in mind. Hydrogen car tanks are carbon fiber composites, tested under extreme conditions, ballistic and controlled burns, designed not to rupture. Sensors detect leaks. Systems can safely vent gas. We've handled industrial hydrogen safely for over a century. Like natural gas or gasoline, it must be respected. With proper engineering, standards, and regulations, hydrogen can be handled as safely as other fuels. Another pervasive myth: hydrogen is a zero-emissions fuel. This is only partially true. In a fuel cell, the only direct emission is pure water. That part is true and wonderful. But emissions depend entirely on how hydrogen was made. Gray, large CO2 at the plant; blue, possible methane leaks; green, powered by renewables, closest to life cycle zero. So when you hear zero emissions, ask, how was it produced? This is the most important question in the hydrogen debate. Honest carbon accounting is essential. We need clear, transparent, internationally recognized standards, or risk greenwashing. So, where does this leave us? After exploring the science, the colors, the challenges, the myths, what is the verdict on hydrogen? The cosmos does not deal in simple yes or no answers. The reality is nuanced. Hydrogen is not the single savior that will rescue our planet from climate change, but it is a powerful and valuable tool that can play a significant role in a cleaner energy future. It is a specialist, not a generalist. Its true potential will be unlocked if we are smart, strategic, and honest about where and how we use it. We must resist the hype and focus on the applications where it provides a real, tangible benefit. The future of energy is not about one solution winning. It will be a mosaic of different technologies. For many uses, like passenger cars and home heating, direct electrification using renewable power will be more efficient, cheaper, and the superior choice. But for the hard stuff, making steel without coal, powering ships across oceans, flying planes without kerosene, storing summertime sun for the winter, hydrogen offers a pathway to decarbonization that is difficult to achieve otherwise. This is its purpose. It is the missing piece of the puzzle for the sectors that electrification cannot easily reach. First, accelerate the build-out of cheap, abundant renewable energy. Second, invest in scaling up electrolyzer manufacturing to bring down costs. Third, focus efforts and subsidies on deploying hydrogen in hard-to-abate sectors where it has the biggest impact. Using precious green hydrogen to heat a home when a heat pump could do it more efficiently is a waste. Finally, implement robust regulations to ensure hydrogen labeled clean is actually clean, accounting for all emissions. What can you do? Be curious. Be skeptical. When you hear about a new hydrogen project, ask the right questions. Ask how the hydrogen is being made. Ask if it is the most efficient solution for that particular job. The more we, as a public, understand the nuances, the better our collective decisions will be. The journey to a sustainable civilization is the greatest challenge humanity has ever faced. It will require all our ingenuity. Hydrogen, used wisely, can be one of our most important tools on that cosmic journey. To continue your own exploration, I recommend watching the excellent documentary The Hydrogen Challenge from the Fully Charged Show on YouTube. It provides a grounded, real-world look at companies and technologies building the hydrogen economy today. Keep looking up and keep asking questions.